to the joint city council and planning and zoning commission special meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Davis,
I am present.
Council President Roeder,
Here.
Councilmember DePreez.
Yep.
Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Chair Taylor.
Here.
And Commissioner Erickson is absent.
Correct.
Yes, we do have a quorum.
Would you like to lead us in the pledge, sir? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Please join me. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or corrections to the thing? Yep. 2040 comprehensive plan update and no, future land use map. All right. Donna?
I feel like we should have some paperwork here.
Like a physical copy, unofficial.
So we're gonna take a step back. You guys are gonna spend a great deal of time looking at the white space in front of you and working at this meeting, just as an FYI.
It's a workshop.
So we kind of took a bit of schooling from a few of the council members at the last kind of workshop. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk about it. At the last workshop, who kind of indicated they needed to know what land uses were. So we defined them. And we defined kind of the 5 primary and 2 of the overlay districts.
Thank you.
So, oh, you want one too?
Are there any extras for our audience members?
We don't have
I
it.
didn't really print tons of extras for the audience, just as an FYI. So, generally speaking, there are plans and they are components of the comprehensive plan. They're not in lieu of the comprehensive plan. They're not in addition to the comprehensive plan, but they're a part of the comprehensive plan. And they're generally found in an appendix. And the future land use map is driven from the plan's goals and policies. So you guys have created your goals and policies. I've printed copies of them for you. So you can refer to what the ones are that we are proposing to adopt with the updates. I'm gonna give you those.
I'll pass them out. Is that right?
You fill it up?
2 more. One back.
I'll take it.
You want
You
2?
can pass them around stuff over there.
She needs one too. That's all?
Yep, here you go. You can land over there. So maps are delineated and proposed in a general pattern of land use activity. That's the future land use map. We have the central business overlay. That's one of the maps in the comp plan. We've got a critical natural areas map. That's back there. We have a water district service area because we have lots of water districts in Hayden, not just the city. And we have a school district service area. Those are all in the appendix, and they all help reflect the community's vision, statement, their goals, and policies, as well as those other areas addressed by other service providers that we also address in the comp plan. All of those help, those maps help guide for future land use decisions, outlining a general pattern of desired development. So the maps that delineate the transportation plan are in the transportation plan. Maps that have to do with the sewer system are in the sewer master plan. And maps that have to do with the parks are in the parks master plan. All of those plans are referenced in the comprehensive plan and made a part of the comprehensive plan. That's why staff always refers to all of those plans when we're doing all of our analysis. That and the fact that our Hayden City Code also reference those plans. So the maps, in consort with the plan's goals and policies, shall be considered when making decisions concerning future land use ordinances. Amendments of the current zoning ordinance and map requested zone changes, and other land use issues. The boundaries delineating types of use are not finite. I mean, we have seen a lot of these drawn all the way down to the parcel layer. That's not what they are. They are kind of a swath and a fuzzy zone. And so, generally speaking, those boundary lines for types of use are generally within 300 feet plus or minus of the delineating land use on the land use map. The general zone, they're fuzzy, they're not precise. This generality shall be taken into consideration when determining future zoning and land use decisions in areas adjacent to any boundary as set forth on the maps. So when you come in for a zone change, and you were to look at the future land use map and or the goals and policies, you're looking for whether or not it fits or doesn't fit. Doesn't have to fit, it's a guiding tool, but is it in general conformance? So then when we're looking at land uses, I actually want you to turn over the page because there are two overlay districts. I'm going to come back to those, but I just put them in alphabetical order because I do that. So general commercial, generally speaking, is a retail and service-oriented activity that are primarily accessed by vehicle and may require larger parking and or service areas than that required in a central business district. Any storage, manufacturing, and processing activity shall be directly related to the on-site retail and professional services. So when you're thinking about commercial, you're thinking about those retail, service-oriented activities in the commercial zone. Now, light manufacturing is specific to light industrial is specific to light industrial. I went back and researched kind of the history of where we came up with light industrial versus industrial. And we didn't really want, our forefathers didn't really want heavy industrial uses in our industrial areas because those industrial areas are primarily around the airport and all of them are over the aquifer. So they didn't want those heavy industrial uses that they were concerned about, and hence they chose light industrial. So we don't allow those allowed uses that you would see in those really heavy industrial zones aren't allowed in Hayden at all. Manufacturing and wholesale businesses, activities include manufacturing, processing, fabrication, some assemblage, warehousing, freight handling, similar operations. So mixed commercial. I went out and researched all kinds of land uses all over the place in a variety of different locations. And mixed commercial really is predominantly what I keep saying we're doing with our commercial zone in small cases. And that is, mixed commercial properties are types of commercial properties that serve two or more purposes, typically a combination of residential units, commercial and or retail space. And a mixed commercial building typically includes a residential section comprised of at least 4 units with commercial spaces that face the street or other public areas. Public recreation. Public recreation is kind of a morphed area. It either is publicly owned land, public land, that's city-owned land, and that can include parks, parking areas, recreation centers, transportation facilities, and utilities. Recreational land use, now this could be public or private, is for leisure and outdoor activities such as nature trails, parks, playgrounds, sports fields, and both passive and or recreational facilities. It could also include open space land that is preserved for aesthetic, environmental, or conservation purposes such as parks, greenways, and natural areas. And then residential. Residential are areas or regions primarily designed for people to live. Housing design may vary between and through residential areas as land uses. And then 2 overlays that we've talked about is the central business district, which is back on the first page. Activities that are pedestrian friendly and require minimal parking areas. A well-defined mix of uses including small-scale retail activities, restaurants, professional services, and other activities that enhance the future identity of the corridor as the downtown Main Street Business District. It promotes a mixture of activities including residential uses on upper floors of multi-story buildings in the district and community activity centers. And then a neighborhood commercial overlay is a neighborhood-oriented business located in small pockets at the intersection of streets within residential neighborhoods as may be allowed through a conditional use permit. Commercial activities include retail and professional service businesses designed to provide local service to residential areas with limited hours of operation, signage, building dimensions, and parking as may be appropriate for a residential neighborhood. So those are kind of the definitions to start with, and you've got your goals and policies. Now, just hold on. Hold that thought. So you guys all have some idea of how you want the city to be developed, and we're gonna get that hammered out tonight. These are erasables. They erase.
So, Donna, these definitions, are these definitions that we've come up with, or is
Nope.
this something, so where are these definitions in code?
They aren't. They're a place to start. Everybody needs a place to start.
Where did the types fit in? Where did mixed use and mixed residential?
They fit in zoning code. We're talking about land use.
So.
Where do you want uses
Compared
to
to our
reside?
current future land use map,
We aren't.
we're gonna design a completely new format for future land use map.
Pretty much. That's what we've been doing all along, pretty much.
Is this a subtle message?
Maybe.
No, because there's 64 of them, Tom. I don't think, something about special forces.
And part of the reason that we're doing this, and I've actually done a little bit of a test drive of this. Yeah, you're not out of the job. You tell.
Donna, do we just have one more copy of this that they could just look at? They could share it. There's one.
Mr. Mayor, Chair Taylor, do
Yes.
you want me to share with the audience?
I'll defer to the mayor.
I guess, but here's the deal, I don't want this to slow down the meeting. This is a meeting of the joint of both city council and of planning and zoning. So
Right.
they're not drawing on this like we are. This is a meeting.
Well,
so
I'm
we-
talking about another one of these definitions, just
Sure.
one for them, they'll share it and
Sure.
they came to observe and
Or you don't have
let
another
them be
one?
informed. Thank you.
Hey, we need
people.
Tell them they should join.
I know.
Whoop. They're working on it. I think. Here.
That's my idea.
Thank you.
All right. So, everybody has a map, and the very first thing I want you to do is pull out 5 crayons. I don't care, 5 coloring objects, I don't care what colors they are, and make yourself a legend of the 5 land uses, not the overlays, just the 5 land uses. You could do that?
Where's rural? Do we have any rural or ag? Or
Could you just please pick 5 crayons?
That's zoning. Talking zoning.
Thank you.
I'm missing a map, I think.
Rural, isn't it?
You got, missed a map.
Don't miss me, I need a map.
Residential.
see, no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right, but this is
Thank you
basically
so much. I love your
broad
colors.
down the road
Broad, yeah.
and turn into, yeah.
Okay, so could you repeat the instructions one more time?
Pick 5 crayons, I don't care what color they are, and make yourself a legend.
I can't decide. We should call it transitory.
Pass the crayons around, because the map people
Something about,
I think you're right, Sean.
We'll talk.
oh, on
I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
there's 3 boxes of crayons, there's 1 container of highlighters, and there's 1 container of skimpy crayons in front of Sean.
If there's a available box, I'll take one. I know Ed's working.
All right, I'm almost done with this one.
There's one right in front of you, Chris.
Hey, Chris, can I pass it?
Are you done with that?
Crowns?
You guys have your 5 crayons over there?
Yes.
If you could pass them around, that'd be great.
Trying to do.
I'm gonna start throwing crayons at people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here you go. Thank you. Now, before you get the coloring, after you've made your legend, if you can,
Yeah, I need another crown.
No overlays.
Oh, don't worry about the overlay.
don't worry about the overlay. Yeah.
This is good.
Right there. Take 1 dark color. Take 1 dark color. Take 1 dark color.
They're all white.
I don't know, just pick one. Pick a color. Pick 1 color. Awesome.
So which we want, residential, public recreation, neighborhood, mixed, light industrial, and general commercial?
General commercial, light industrial, mixed commercial, public rec, and residential.
Don't do the overlay.
Don't do the overlays.
To,
So, is agriculture?
We'll talk in a minute.
People live there, it's residential.
Okay, you ready? You want colors? All right,
And are we doing central business overlay?
hold that thought. Don't be coloring anything yet, just make your legend. All right, so this is the city. Those are the city limits. You see the city limits on your map.
I'm not done because I just got my crayons.
Okay, make your legend.
Feel like an elementary school teacher?
residential, public recreation, mixed, and light industrial, and general commercial, right?
Art, sit
I don't want mine in yellow.
down. Art, sit down and listen. Okay, there. Okay, fine, we will be here.
All right, everybody got a legend?
No,
Okay,
I'm getting there.
all right. Did you want some crayons, Abby?
No, thank you.
Okay, I was gonna share.
There's some big paper.
All right, so as you're finishing your legend,
Okay, we're finished.
okay, so it's really important to know where your boundaries are. So those are the city limits, but a future land use map looks also at our area of impact. So our area of impact is the black line. So with your dark pencil-ish crayon that I had you pick up, could you draw in the area of impact as what we propose to the county? Are you drawing, Mr. Mayor?
What are we doing with this other pencil?
You're drawing the area of impact on, based on this map, you're drawing the black line that is the proposed area of impact.
Oh, it's not on here already?
It is not on there already.
Is this gonna get graded?
It is not. Only yours, But we're all gonna use it.
I'm worried.
Our own individual choices.
Just stay inside the lines.
What am I gonna say to my wife? What'd you do in this council meeting? Play with crayons.
We learned about land uses.
That's right.
That's what this is about.
Can I ask a question? What's the purpose of this exercise?
Well, hopefully to get everybody on the same page, that's the goal.
Oh, on the same page to do what specifically?
To get to the point where we have a future land use map that we can all pretty much agree to.
Okay, so don't we already have one?
No,
We have no future land use map.
we have the current one and we've been working on amending it. So we're getting there. So just bear with us for a minute. So transportation corridors. Where are the transportation corridors? So when we're looking at transportation corridors, we see Prairie Avenue as a transportation corridor. We see Hayden Avenue as a transportation corridor. We see Lancaster as a transportation corridor, Highway 95, and Government Way. So why is a transportation corridor important? Because on policy 9, on the second page of your policies, it says that high-density housing options will be encouraged along primary transportation corridors where development doesn't interfere with established neighborhoods. So the reason Ramsey Road isn't on here is because Ramsey Road is a predominantly already built environment, so it has an established neighborhood. So that's why it's not listed on here as a transportation corridor.
How about Hutter?
Well, we'll head there next. We're coming. We're getting that way. We really don't all know what Hutter is going to look like. This area south along Hutter on the east side, council has pretty much seen projects that have come forward, so it also is a pretty established area that as it builds, it'll become established. So those plans have been preliminarily approved by council. And the area north of along Hutter, we don't know what's happening at Hutter. So we just left it off for the moment as a transportation corridor because we really don't know what's going on with it. We'll come back to that. So then the public recreation area, remember I said that was kind of a soup to nuts area that we identified publicly owned property. We identified open space. We identified rec land. So that's what this map does. First of all, I'm gonna back up to this one. Did you guys identify your corridors on your maps?
I don't agree with them.
You can change them. You can always add to them too. So this just a kind of a starting place.
Are those corridor maps based on a functional classification system?
They're pretty much our arterials in the city. And Highway 95 is considered a principal arterial, correct.
Can I see the crayon box, please?
Yeah. I need another color too.
Yeah, for my roads.
Oh, there's gold. That'll do
I
it.
already have
Thank
it.
you.
So it's on
Can you
the-
pass that down,
As
please?
soon as I find a color I don't have already. Go give that to Matt, I got it, thank you.
Well, that matches up with Lancaster, so that,
You want a ruler?
No, I'm good.
See this.
This is the
You
engineer.
can use his faceplate, his nameplate too. Oh yes, he is. Never mind.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
Are we good?
no.
Okay.
slow at working with my nameplate. Okay, and that's Government Way.
Is, are the goals and policies, these are amendable too, right?
Well, the council and the planning and zoning commission have pretty much approved them as written. They've been vetted by the consultant. So as of the part of this meeting that we're working on right now, we're not looking at amending the goals and policies as they exist.
Okay, I got it. I think I got it. Yep. So,
All right, so we had talked about public recreation, open space areas. So I'm going to kind of just walk through these so you can kind of see what they are, and you can choose to color them on your map if you so want to, so that you can see where they're at, or not, it's your choice. So I'm going to start down here at Finucane Park. It's a city-owned park. Then going immediately to the kind of east, that swath that's outside of our city limits and in our area of impact, that is all under a conservation easement to remain as it is.
Point.
Point,
The
well,
Richards
this
property.
area, the Richards property,
right there.
right there. These properties that are north of Honeysuckle are city-owned properties and a privately owned piece of property, but they all function as a lift station, sewer utility lift station, as a gravel pit, and another lift station that's in the district. Those are all on those kind of three properties that are there. So those are why those are colored in green. So they're immediately north of the conservation area. Honeysuckle Beach is out here and highlighted in green, up here by Honeysuckle Beach, obviously. Now I'm going to go west. So almost directly west of Honeysuckle Beach, and I know Travis is not going to like me. This is the city park. McIntyre Park, right here. And then cruising out over here, this is Stoddard Park. One more park. And then just kind of over here, just by Ramsey, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at it, but just off of Boyles, there's a private park, but it's a requirement of that subdivision to remain a park for ever and ever and ever, so it's a park. Right here, privately owned park. Broadmoor, I took a stab at where we think the park is going into the Battleground subdivision, and also a stab at where the parks are going in the Hayden Sky project, as approved. There's a 1 acre park in Carrington that exists as a park today, right there. And flip-flopping around, going back north, up here between Miles and Lacey and east of Government Way. That is Avery Estates. That park in there is a publicly accessible park.
Really?
So continuing northward is the Stone Creek Park. That's a publicly accessible park. There's a piece of open space that's required to remain open space in Bear Creek Estates. It's back here. There's a park in Emerald Estates that's outside of the city limits, but it's in our area of impact, so it's identified. This weird swath here is the park that is part of the Trail Bridge project. They're required to build some trails in, special use park. This park to the north is that knob area. I will, yeah. In the Marks Ranch subdivision. Here's Crawford Park complex, sports complex. This park in Hayden North is a private park. Here in Hayden North, it's a private park. This is the Hayden Canyon Park, that 18.5 acres. And this area is dedicated open space per agreement in Hayden Canyon.
Point?
This is all dedicated open space. It will grow, that open space will grow, but that is required dedication by agreement in that subdivision.
Donna, I'm sorry, I'm gonna nitpick that just one thing. I know that we've authorized a third-party contractor to review the original Hayden Canyon documents. Is that before or after the?
It's a requirement of the annexation and the master development agreement, and it's in an agreement, an open space
So
agreement that I
it will
don't.
not be affected by the, okay.
Nope. Nope. And then this is our land application site that will remain our land application site as ag land.
Where's that, how?
All of this is publicly owned by by Harps. And it's all ag today. Everybody got those? And highlighted? All things to consider when you're looking at land uses. So add some regional transportation. Dulcie and I have a meeting at Idaho Transportation Department next week, so they can give us some updated results regarding wherever the heck we are with the Hutter corridor. So we'll hopefully have some kind of information we can shed some light on that process. And then this is our Ramsey Road project, which is nearing completion, getting close to being done. And then it's kind of envisioned to kind of meander back and connect into Hutter someplace, but that's a planning kind of level viewpoint of where that's all going to connect. Best known data at the time.
So is that showing that that connection that's supposed to go up to Lancaster and across Lancaster to what the Hutter bypass would be? Is that supposed to be a connection of Reed or Ramsey?
This is Ramsey that goes down here and around the corner and back up.
Oh.
All right, so we talked about those overlay districts, and the central business district runs from Dakota to just south of Paul Bunyan over here, and it's one parcel deep on either side of Government Way. And then the first neighborhood node of the city is down here off of 4th and Prairie in the Lock Haven Planned Unit Development. They put a neighborhood node in there, and it started off as Damon's Deli, and then has migrated to Stupid Cow and a couple of medical offices, I believe. And then those are the airport critical zones.
I didn't realize this, but I heard it when
New subdivision.
Oh, I got it now. Let's see.
It's not Lancaster. It
Ran out of paper.
subdivision. They walked away. Brought it up.
So that's a really jumbled map.
out in the county.
And I don't know that you want all of those information on there, but I printed off some that show all of the layers we just had you guys write on, because I want you to have room on your maps to color some land uses and have some reference. So these are reference points. because you remember it better if you do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of tactile conversation going on there. So, knowing what you guys all know, this is for reference purposes. I want you to draw on that map. Reference only. Draw on that map. Yeah. Knowing what you know about the city of Hayden, I want you to use your 5 colors, and I want you to put your land uses on the map.
Should you say consistent with the goals and policies?
I'm getting there.
Thank you.
Once you've put your land uses on, then we're going to have you check them against the goals and policies and make sure that they align with the goals and policies. But I
Are you
think that
asking us
most
to
of
put
you,
down our desires or what we think they're supposed to be?
I'm asking you to fill out the map the way you want the future land use map to look like, consistent with what you know the city to be and the goals and policies before you.
Got it, okay.
And it's that last part that keeps it from being capricious. I want it this
Arbitrary
way.
and capricious. It's really not helpful.
You know, I have difficulty with this because, you know, it's like asking me, do I know each inch of the city of Hayden and what's there? And I don't. I mean, that's why I find this very difficult exercise because, you know, I don't know what is currently at a lot of these parcels. I don't know
We're
what
not
they
doing
are.
parcels. Parcels are there for reference, but we're not looking at it parcel by parcel.
Donna, may I? Matt, one of the things we're trying to accomplish here, council will hopefully soon be asked to approve a comprehensive plan. We want to make sure the city council understands the relationship between the goals and policies and future land use map. If the goals and policies say, for example, we're going to concentrate all of our high-density housing next to a park, our future land use map doesn't look like that, then you guys are going to get to the finish line and say, this doesn't match. So the whole point of this exercise, well, there's a lot of points to this exercise, but as it relates to your question, we're tying all the elements of the comprehensive plan together as a means to educate the city council so they can make a thoughtful decision later this year, hopefully when we get the comprehensive plan changes across the nation.
Also,
Does that make sense?
as you're looking at the airport zones, airport runway protection zones, remember that in those airport runway protection zones, they aren't looking for high-density residential, so, or high-density uses, so.
Well, we don't even
You're-
have a high-density indicator on here. It's all just residential.
That's what I mean. It's kind of hard to look at this.
You do, because look at your definition of mixed commercial.
4 units or more. It's basically mixed use, if you ask me. From the looks of it, it's mixed use.
But we didn't like the word mixed use, so we changed it to mixed commercial.
Who changed it?
I don't know.
We just threw it out. I went out and looked at a bunch of things, mixed use, mixed commercial, mixed residential, mixture of uses, and hands down, by and large, mixed commercial best addresses how we, the city, have consistently had mixed use uses.
So from my own, I guess, cerebral lack thereof here, if I want to indicate where I want what is currently mixed use, I should use the mixed commercial color.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's density.
No, it's not.
Art, typically,
Typically,
it didn't say it is.
4 units per building, right?
four dwelling units per building in a mixed commercial building. Or more. Not to be confused, land use is not to be confused with zoning designation.
So, like, for example, light industrial. I don't know where the current light industrial is on this map anyway, so how do I identify it?
Where do you want it to be?
The front of the airport.
Well, see, it's not where I want it. We have light industrial already. And,
There's a zoning map up there that shows you where we're currently zoned, if that's what you want to look at.
well, that's what I mean. There's a lot of detail in this. So do we have a map that shows where all our light industrial is, other than that right there?
We do.
Okay, where is it? So I can put it in here, so I know where the light industrial is.
So again, you're framing it off of existing zoning districts.
So does that mean I should just say, well, okay, let's put residential there? What if I put residential there? I don't know what's there. That's my
Again,
point.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just telling you that from the standpoint of your goals and policies, as well as your indications on where you think certain areas or types of land uses should be, does it follow closely to what is actually happening? I guess that's kind of the,
Well,
perspective we're
what's
using.
actually happening, I don't know, because it's not
So
on this
the
map.
airport area in the county today is zoned light industrial. And typically, areas around the airport would make sense to have them, could make sense possibly to have them light industrial as well, because they're close in proximity.
But that's an impossibility, because we've got residential properties all in there now. So if I say it makes sense, well, it's a little late.
You have to start somewhere.
But that's where I'm having a trouble working through this exercise, because you're saying, try to do something that you think fits the goals and policies, but we already have established land uses that's not on the map here that I need for reference, is my point.
Donna, for the record, can you explain what the future land use is, or used for? Like, not current zoning, but for future applications?
Land use, the future land use map identifies where the city sees various land uses developing in the future.
See, there, in the survey, and for as long as I've been involved in this, there's a serious concern about preservation of rural, open ag type of land. And you say, well, just mark that as residential, because people live on rural land. Well, if we just mark that as residential, then we could be saying, yeah, we can put development, single-family developments there. How do we indicate areas that we want to preserve?
Your goals,
Ruralish open.
your goals or your policies will address that. How you annex that area
Do we
into the
have any
city.
goals or policies that address how we preserve rural ag land?
Look at your goals and policies.
I'm having difficulty with this as well. These definitions that we're working with are kind of different than definitions we've had.
Correct.
And I'm struggling with the higher density housing along transportation corridors because I don't agree with that policy. And so, yeah, now like in the land use statutes here, the local land use planning, it gives like different categories than what are on here. Who am I talking to?
I like one.
I'm getting it.
Thank you.
Don't turn it over.
Why?
If I asked you not to.
Because like on the land use planning, it has like agriculture, recreational, housing, commerce, industry, and these are categorized differently. And these are different than what we've used before, so,
Basically, we're trying to figure out where you want those uses.
Well, going back,
Where do you want light industrial? Where do you want commercial? Where do you want residential?
I want it where it is.
Where do we want rural and ag? We don't have an
So we are
opportunity
an
place where we want rural and ag.
urbanized city with 18,000 people in an urbanized city, and every planner that's out there will tell you that ag isn't an urbanized use.
Rural though, people like, look at Big Sky and Brickert and places like that.
Yeah, and they're in the county, and that's why.
So you're not getting it, so let's keep moving.
No,
No, that's
okay?
where it's at.
We've got a problem here.
It's my third meeting about this, and you guys can't seem to get a simple concept.
I got the concept. The concept is that the people said in the survey, they want to preserve rural and open land. And the only place we have left to preserve it is out here and up here. And if
There's
we
open land here,
where?
there's in spots all in here. You're
That's
gonna say that's.
infill. Where do we have anything for 2, 5, 10 acre ruralish type of lots?
Wouldn't that be a
Typically-
zoning? Wouldn't,
Typically, you'd find that in.
or am I
your-
wrong? Is that not during the
Well, if we
zoning?
put
You
it
know,
on
two
here,
people talking at once is hard for me to follow the dialogue.
if we put it on here as residential, that means that it can turn into anything. We need a place to, at least I do,
That's called zoning.
To
Right.
represent-
That's zoning, that you zone it that way, you zone
but
it.
if it shows on the map as being residential, then they go to the map and they say, hey, residential.
And then
And
we
the
say,
zoning-
and we say, we go to our zoning here, and you say, you know what, we have a 5 acre parcel minimum in this area. Or you put a policy in that if you annex somebody into the city, that they can only be annexed in at 1 acre minimum lots, or something
Do
like that.
we have those policies?
Hold on, to Chris's point, he made it beautifully. We're still mixing up zoning and use. Land use and zoning are two different concepts. That became patently clear 2 or 3 meetings ago that everybody in the room doesn't understand that. So part of this exercise is figuring this stuff out.
And-
Well, then I think we need to have those codes about 2, 5 acre, 10 acre, whatever it is, before we do this, okay? Because I'm really concerned that what's gonna happen down the road here is people are gonna come in before we get the codes, and they're gonna say, hey, your future land use map says this can be residential, and they're
It's
gonna,
gonna come before you, you'll get the vote on it.
not in the next 2 or 3 months, it's not. You know, it's gonna come before I get it, a totally different council by the time it ends up coming.
But
Okay.
Ed, to your point, the longer we keep the comprehensive plan open, the longer we can't update the codes to get the shape of the city the way you're talking. All this has an order. We don't do the codes. The codes are based on the plan. Donna, correct me if I'm wrong at anything I say.
No, you're doing great. I'm looking at the goals and policies.
Donna is trying to lead us in exercise so that you guys understand from kind of layer 0 to layer 1 to layer 2, how all this stuff is related.
Well, you know, we have no goals or policies related to rural or ag type of land, okay? And this is very similar to what happened the last meeting, where we had these things thrown at us that we hadn't seen. And now here we are again, getting this type of thing, and we're saying, nope, you gotta basically forget all this stuff that we've talked about with related to this, and we're gonna make a new one here, and we're gonna make this before we put anything in place that is going to protect a lot of this land that's the only open space left from potentially turning into developments.
So Ed, can you look at policy 15 and policy 16 and see if they address your concerns?
Identify setbacks and infrastructure to protect identified natural resources and environmentally sensitive areas. That sounds like kind of a wetlands type of issue. We'll also consider preservation of historical structures. Okay, 16, an environmental impact analysis will be completed ahead of implementing projects that compromise previously undeveloped acreage, natural resources, and environmental sensitive areas.
No, you don't answer that.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I have a question.
Undeveloped acreages?
Well,
It doesn't say or.
environmental impact,
Okay,
which leaves it open
Right,
to,
so
you
I'm
come
not-
in and say, nope, you can build you can build another 150 unit or 200 or 400 unit development right here, because there's 400 acres or whatever the heck it may be.
How about-
And you're gonna put it on sewer.
How about
So
goal
it's not gonna
6?
impact, it's not gonna have a detrimental environmental impact.
How about goal 6?
So, I guess where I want to jump in here and remind council. that
Natural areas
The
again.
point of going through this exercise first is to follow this along through the process to ensure that these are adequately done. Now, what I'm hearing, and to your point about possibly getting new information at this day, we're hearing some new information too around goals and policies, so, you know,
Well, we keep getting these things that, whoa, all of a sudden, we didn't see this, we've never seen this, and I'm sorry, but it feels like and it might be, it's my paranoia, please, my paranoia about the issue here of getting circumvented, okay? And I don't mean, but see, somebody made a comment a minute ago that we're urbanized, we have 18,000 plus people. Well, that's what Post Falls is saying, and that's what Coeur d'Alene is saying. And that's why Post Falls is exploding up the Prairie, and that's why we have so much traffic pouring across Prairie and Hayden and Lancaster into the city of Hayden, because they are pounding it in high density, all kinds of densities, and they're going to continue to pound it in up the Prairie, because we're an urbanized area now. We have to accept that in the case of Post Falls and their common land, 104,000 people are going to live here in 20, 25 years, okay? And they aren't trying to do anything to manage it. And I'm just very concerned that in 20, 25 years, we will have no rural space, no 2, 5, 10, no large type of land spaces, and it will just be wall to wall to wall people.
So I have a question. Is agriculture a land use?
Yes.
And why don't we have that included as a land use?
I'm putting it in.
So again, it goes back to, on an agricultural piece of property, where do we have ag in the city today, first? And two, is an agricultural piece of property truly ag, or is it a residence that has more than 5 acres? So the question goes back to, if all of the areas that you're concerned about to keep open space for ag or 2 to 5 acres or whatever we're talking about, we identify agriculture as a use in the land use chapter, we identify it, but we also identify the fact that you address how you want to see your area of impact get developed. If you limit it to agricultural use, then there's no reason for them to annex into the city, because they can have ag use today.
See, that's where we come into the problem. Rural ag, to me, rural is very similar to me to ag, okay? And rural to me means open space. Rural, again, I keep using Brickert and Big Sky as examples, okay? Whatever they are, they're 2, 5, 10, 20 acres, horses, agriculturalist, or what you see as agriculturalist type of uses, okay? And I would like the city to still have some of that in 10, 20 years. Okay, and that's my main point here. And in the environment that we're in right now, and I think we've all experienced it when these developers come before us. They say, oh, well, the future land use map and the comp plan are just guides, but they use them.
Okay, so let me run up one more up the flagpole really quick here. Let's see, where's the one I'm after?
I just want to point out that saying rural ag might create an image in somebody's mind. We could call it anything we want, and then it would apply to what Councilman DePriest is saying, which is bigger lots than our quarter-acre limit right now.
typically you wouldn't have 5-acre lots in a city unless they've annexed in with that use. Typically, you would see larger tracts of land in your area city impact.
And we currently have agriculture as a zone, and we currently have residential suburban as a zone
Yeah.
today. So I mean, those still exist as zones, we're not.
My problem is, we have a land use that is agriculture, and yet we're not going to address that as a land use. And I want to know why, because if it's agriculture and it's defined as a land use, it should be on a future land use map. Are you just going to eliminate it and say, boy, you know what? We have no ag. but we do, and we define it in a land use category now. So where does that go? Does it just go away?
So typically, again, I mentioned that when you're talking about uses such as agricultural or rural pursuits, those are gonna be pursuits that are largely done in a less urbanized area. So you typically have, you know, a gravel road or a road that does not have infrastructure that supports urban
But are
development.
you applying your personal experience to that?
Standard
What do you mean personal? I have 20
I understand, but
working experience as a
you're-
local planner.
I think that Councilman DePreez is trying to portray a certain vision he has, which
And
may not, maybe we're having a problem with verbiage and use of jargon. I understand what you're saying, I understand there's a standard, I'm not trying to debate your years of experience in planning, but how do we redefine this
So I'm
in a way?
building towards that. So I'm saying that typically, once you bring in urban services, water, sewer, streets, stormwater management, typically you lose those rural pursuits. They are no longer affordable because the amount of infrastructure required to bring
Got
that.
it, so,
So typically, it transitions from that pursuit into something else. That's what staff is trying to show you, that pursuit would likely be upon urban services being brought to that area.
Well, then my personal opinion is that, and I said it a minute ago, when the council that is planning and zoning at that time, they have the same ability to amend and change as we are now. We represent, at least in my opinion, we represent the current population of Hayden, who we talk to, and again, I keep going back to the survey, and that's kind of why we did the survey, okay? This is what those people said their current vision is. Now, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, as you say, let's say the rural becomes obsolete or whatever you're indicating, and it needs to change, then that zone P and Z and council at the time, I think, will have the same opportunities that we now are engaged in amending and changing to meet whatever the demand of the citizenry of the Hayden at that time says, yeah, we need to do this, let's do it.
So I guess what I'm hearing, and you can tell me if I heard this wrong, is if the current use is supportive of a designation that we're considering, that we would label it that use. So for example, if you have agricultural uses now, you would pursue a designation for that. And let the future well, yeah, same thing.
Well, as I look at Hayden Avenue now, as you pass Atlas or in the area of Atlas going west towards Hutter, and then again you look at that area west of Hutter in our ACI, and even south of Hutter still, right along there, there appear to be several ruralish, aggish looking properties. They're long, narrowish type properties, and I can see them, if we have Hayden Avenue being our general commercial type of main arterial type of place, I can see those going by the wayside. But the only place that I really think that we have an opportunity to provide, and like I said, I think there's a demand for it, and it has somewhat of a specialized demand because not everybody can afford a Brickard or Big Sky type property. But I think if you continue those developments north through there, that people would buy them. If somebody said, hey, we have 10, 20, 30, whatever the acreage is, and it is horse property, or some type of, you want a rural living? Well, we currently have a rural living, develop it as they have developed to the south, rural living. I think there's a big demand for that by people.
And typically though, at that level of, I don't want to refer to density, but that level of use or that level of the size of the area, typically you're not bringing urban services, you're not on sewer. you're
Another
not
on
on-
septic and wells.
does that,
And
why
then
does that matter?
there's really no strong need then to annex, right? So we're looking at leaving that area
So what?
likely in
We
the,
don't want to annex, we don't want to annex.
And they stay in the county.
annex,
But
they
wouldn't
come to
that
us for
leave
it.
Well, I
the other
know, but they asked for it,
jurisdictions?
that we don't have to annex them, and so that's what my point is. Council, we do not have to bring them in.
Well,
If it's-
and I'll be your
look,
devil's
the bo-
advocate though, but say you do that, and you say, all right, we're gonna keep all this 5 acre minimum, so they're gonna go to Rafton and go, hey, you know what, we don't wanna be in Hayden, we wanna be in Rafton, because we wanna put 5,000 square.
So
feet.
answer this question for me.
So let's get our zoning right.
We are way, our roads are overwhelmed, and we can't pay for them.
Well, that's our problem, because our taxes are too low, but.
Okay, so here's the deal. So let's just add as many more, let's make it denser, let's put more houses in, because it's gonna fix the problem, but it's not. It's gonna make the problems worse. We're the elected officials, we hear about it, we know that's the number one issue to the roads. And you can say, well, it's not our problem because we didn't create it. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Coeur d'Alene or Post Falls or Rafton. The fact is, we have a major problem, and we have intersections that are Fs. And so, but we just keep going and we keep building and we keep building. And that's the problem, is that if preserving some of this ag land, if it stays ag, I'm for that. Because,
I am too, but wouldn't that be wouldn't it have to be even to a 5 acre lot, which I think would be awesome in all those areas, but wouldn't that still be zoned residential? Like, to have a 5 acre and a home on something that is now just farmland, it would still need to be on the future land use zoned as a residential. It can't be zoned, right? I mean, we
But we have
still
no
know we're
guarantee.
gonna, homes are going more likely than not, as farmers can't make a sustainable farming living, those properties as much, and I've lived here my entire life. I would much rather the gates had been closed 20 years ago, to be quite honest with you, but they are open. So it will be a residential area on what we are currently working on, which is our future land use map. It won't be, unfortunately, agriculture. I mean, so aren't we dealt kind of the cards we have, and the taxpayer, you guys are here to make decisions. And the fact that I've heard this has taken 1.5 years just baffles me. This should be, and then when it comes to zoning, when it comes to approving those subdivisions, then that is the time when I'm sure there's more. I'm just saying, this seems to be where we're trying to lay out an area as it's going to be, and I don't want to see industrial out here. I mean, I'd rather people live in these areas when it comes time for that to happen. And residential seems to be the term that's used. And at the zoning level, at subdivisions, I think lower impact is a much better future plan, but I don't think we're there right now. But I'm kind of new to this, but that's my
that's the
feeling.
dilemma, I'm just voicing myself as
Yeah,
an elected
no, right.
official, because that's the number one issue in our city, based on our
And that's our zoning.
survey.
That's our zoning. And this is the future land use map. We're just trying to get the broad overview. And then we get into zoning. I've said this before, I said, why don't we just make the minimum lot size in Hayden 15,000 square feet? And anything new that comes in, it's gotta be that size. So then we're gonna have less density
Right.
over the next 20 years. Then we're gonna get yelled at, well, we've done all our sewer studies for this amount of, and it doesn't make sense. Well, if the city's already going broke because our taxes are too low.
Who
why
says
would
they're
we provide
going,
density?
who says we're going broke?
We can't afford to fix the roads, can we?
Well,
Why not?
does that mean
Because
we're
there's no
going,
money.
are we going broke?
I would imagine to fix the
Have
roads.
you looked
we
at
would
our
go broke.
budget, are we going broke?
No. but
Okay,
we're not-
that's my point.
But we're not providing the services that we need to be providing so that the Fs.
You know how many
intersections
millions
are
and
Fs?
millions of dollars it's gonna take to fix these intersections?
I'm
We
aware.
could have tripled our levy rate and still be behind.
Because we've been not paying for 30 years.
But we've been doing a great job of trying to fix and maintain what we have.
with what we
But when
can.
you add more and more homes, it makes the problem worse and worse, and we kick the can down the road,
Yeah.
and it's not getting
So let's
fixed.
make the lots bigger so it's less.
Well, I'm saying, so what's the vision? The vision from P and Z, we're urban, let's
That's
just
not-
build the heck out of it.
That's not our
That's not
vision.
Well, but I'm just
But
saying,
We're just trying to get a land use map here, and we've been talking about this for 3 meetings now. The first meeting, a lot of people didn't even come in and know what we were talking about. This is an overview. All we're trying to do is, this is how we see future land use. And whether it's 2 acres or 5,000 square foot lots or 5 acre
Still
lots.
residential.
That's residential, people live on it.
Hey, Tom,
So we're fighting over semantics right now.
can you put your
And I'm
commercial
tired of
on the
wasting
map
Monday
It's a waste of time.
up there?
for this. You guys argue over semantics.
Can you put where you want to see
Are you gonna
commercial?
get me in trouble?
Neutral party here.
And you guys are posturing, I get it, because you gotta get reelected, but this is just.
No, hey, that's not a fair comment.
You know, we care about our people that,
We all care about
if
it. We
you
all
ask,
live here.
you ask the average citizen, hey, you say, hey, do you want more subdivision? Let's get more traffic. What do you think they're gonna say?
No.
No.
I said it for 20 years.
So when you say we want to get reelected, we're trying to do what we think is the
But that's
best.
making decisions.
But what is your, what is
That's
your,
making decisions.
what's your proposition then? What is your problem solve?
Do we
Because
add ag to the future land use map?
Well, is it a land use?
It is a land use.
Then why don't we include it?
Okay, let's put it on there. There we go, let's put it on there.
Hey, Matt, can you put where you want your ag?
Also, we need to know
Here.
that, like, it can get rezoned.
I haven't done that
So if
one
it gets
yet.
rezoned, because, you know, farmer John
Because
has
we've
to
been
sell.
talking.
We just
Why
say we'd like to
Farmer
keep
John
it.
says, hey, I can't sell my property now? Is that what you're saying to me?
We're
City
basically-
Can you put where you think what you want
They have
ag?
their right to sell their
Yeah, I'm
property.
not sure.
Ag?
I like
Yeah.
that.
Or rural, whatever?
Whatever you're calling it.
I
Let's have another
understand,
color and we'll put that on there.
I understand your frustration with us, and if I were in your shoes, I'd feel the same
No,
way.
hold on to that one. Your commercial, just remember, you got the commercial marker.
I just, if we want to settle on just one designation for residential, then the next, when we drill down the next layer, then we define like different lot sizes. But how do we,
Hold on to that.
being
You got
an
ag.
advocate, how do we, does it matter that this has to
I'll give you
have
my light
residential
industrials.
levels?
That's the black one. Is that all right? Is it okay for black?
Okay, so
Is that an okay color or do you want a
are
different
you
color?
saying that
It doesn't matter.
Councilman
Okay.
Creed's
Your
concern
choice.
is not legitimate?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it doesn't belong on this map. And to Joel's question, which has been in my head for the last 20 minutes, the city council, if Farmer Jones wants to sell his
Can
property,
you put mixed
are you guys
commercial
gonna
on?
tell him he can't because it has to be a farm?
I don't
Because if we're
like
protecting
the
ag
zone
land,
mixed
that's
commercial
great.
It's a
because
land
What
use,
if-
so where do you want to
I
see
think the point
it?
of that question is you guys need to think through what you're saying.
It's not
that
a land use
I-
we're having for.
That's a,
It's not
Put
that,
mixed
it's
use
not
up
that
where
you
you
guys
wanna
don't have
see it.
points about density.
I don't want to see mixed use.
That's not an option. You have to put it up somewhere. Where do you want to put it?
Well, see, hold on, wait till I'm done.
Go
You
ahead.
guys done?
Yeah.
It's not that all your points about traffic and density aren't important. But again, think this
I'll do
through.
residential.
5 years from now, Farmer Jones says, I can't make money selling weed anymore. I want to sell my land. And you're gonna say, sorry, you can't do that. It's got to stay a farm.
Thank you.
Or you're going to sell it to another farmer, like
Here,
you're
you
going to take on the
want to keep
responsibility of a losing
But
farm.
somebody might edit
I
it,
don't
so
think
you want to know
that's
where
the right-
your line does.
Well, see, that's where we're getting to this semantic between rural and ag,
Yeah.
okay? And
Well, then, if you're gonna differentiate between the two, that's gonna be a much lower map.
Like
This
what you
this
did
is
with
like
commercial.
30,000 foot. And if you want to get down to like, hey, rural lots versus ag lots, like that's down here. So right now, we're just up here, like,
But you're-
people live up here and this is just the
you're
overview.
talking about Farmer John wanting to sell his land. And if he wanted, if it were rural land, instead of stuck in ag, where you say, well, hey, you can only farm on it. Well, yeah, that's obvious because farming is done here. Farming, if you look
Yeah.
at just what is left is struggling to survive,
Oh,
and the
well,
writing, in my
that,
opinion, is on the wall, unfortunately. Okay.
So you'd like to see larger lots?
I would like, again, I keep using triggered and big, I would like to see
Yeah.
that corridor continue up there to kind of buffer us from what's happening in Post Falls
Yeah.
and Rafton.
So you're saying ag is done, just make it all rural with standard lot sizes.
Well, with the ability, I don't know what Brickert, they look like they might be 5, 10, the various size lots, but maybe 5 acre minimums or something like that. And I would feel perfectly comfortable of calling this residential if I felt very confident that that is what would happen to these areas, and that they wouldn't end up down the road, somebody coming in, and I know we keep talking about this is just a guide and this and that, but we have
that's the next stage, though.
we've all sat back here and watched people come up to this podium and then go through the goals and policies and your comp plan and future land use maps say. And when someone gets up there and goes through the goals and policies, and says, and your comp plan says this is residential, and we want to put, because across the street, you've got these developments, 4 dwellings per acre, and so we want to do the same thing here. That's my concern, and again, it's that, for lack of a better term, semantical, rural versus ag. If we could say rural, okay, I'd be fine.
I think you
Well,
need to
can we
provide some
do-
guidelines around what those would be differentiated from your more denser areas, call it, of already existing growth, because the last thing you want to do is strip somebody of the ability to develop something that's already in an urban area with all urban services.
So let's say let's keep this at 30,000 feet, and then when we get down to like 15,000 feet, then we could differentiate between ag and rural and stuff like that, because it sounds like you're fine with doing away with ag, but keeping rural as
Which is
part of
residential.
like, maybe like a secondary residential, but residential with bigger lot sizes and stuff. So keeping it rural, that's fine, but it sounds like you're okay with getting rid of ag, but let's leave that for like the next one, when we're gonna be getting a little bit lower in the view.
I think I understand what you're saying, and like I said, I'd be fine with saying residential here.
Yeah.
If I had a timeline or a picture in my mind, and I know there are no such thing as guarantees and stuff like that, but I keep, I know I'm a broken record here. My concern is that, we just say residential before we get down to that 15,000 foot level and zone it rural or whatever type of thing.
I think we're all fine with this being the 30,000 foot mark and saying, hey, this is gonna be residential. And then when we get down to the next level down, then we can say, okay, what kind of residential do we want in this
Right.
area? So I think we're all arguing the same thing, just for a different level than the level that we're trying to be on right now.
I will admit that it's fear on my part. Fear, and maybe, it's not that I don't trust whatever, it's the fear that, these developers are, and I get it, that the idea is to make money, and the landowners, then they have a right to make money, I'm not saying that. But my fear is that people are gonna slide in and use this, for lack of a term, against us. Like it's,
But that's where our city ordinances protect us, just like a recent miscellaneous meeting we may have had sometime in the past, that you guys have to go on the standards of approval. Standards of approval are in code, right? That's where that stuff gets done. And nobody pulls a fast one based on this map. They pull a fast one, and using your words, I think, based on our standards of approval. And our standards of approval are in a chapter of our city code. That's where you manage that stuff, not here.
Ed, let's keep it up here, and then we'll lock them up the further down we go.
Yes.
To make it more finite and everything like that, so we can like guarantee things, and we can make sure that things are in code and things are right, like lower down, so we can just try to get the 30,000 foot mark.
I do feel like you guys need some identified pursuits that differentiate between different levels of what I would consider like concentric growth. So as you get more urban, you gotta be thinking about what that means as it relates to your uses. Because obviously as you get less rural, you're gonna have less services.
well, again, my squiggly green up there in the ACI, both the ACIs, I'm not saying anything within our current boundaries should, because we don't really have anything in our current boundaries, 10, 20 acre lots available anymore.
And there's a reason why you would want to look at that area differently than maybe within the
Stay on
But I think
septic,
we
stay
have
on
to be-
sewer, it's still,
And we gotta be careful though, because what happens though is if we restrict it too much or say that it's too big, they'll go to Post Falls, or they'll go to Rathdrum, because, Rathdrum just annexed in.
But the
and they
flip
both
side of
want that
that
stuff, they both want
conversation,
those, they
And
want.
they'll do that, that's my
So we
concern
have to
too, like,
walk that line between,
but the flip side of that conversation is when they do end up making certain investments to bring level of service up,
Yeah.
should they be warranted different levels of consideration by the city? Those are the distinctions I think you guys need to have a conversation about, so it's helpful for staff to know, all right, so let's say, there's a new school being considered out in a certain area, and with that, they're bringing water, sewer, all the infrastructure improvements. Is there a consequence of that growth that would warrant maybe somebody to look at, and the community to look at that area differently in the future, because it has progressed into that with certain infrastructure.
Lisa, I understand what you're saying, and I keep hearing the same thing, and I understand why it's being said. Progress is progress, urbanization is urbanization, and if you take the sewer and bring the infrastructure out to that school on the corner there, let's say, okay, well, that's a cost to bring it out there, which then makes sense for the surrounding properties to then develop, to tie into it, and to pay into it, and to support it. I mean, I get all that. It's just that it feels like it's just being shoved down my throat, and the people that we talk to, and we hear from all the time, are saying the same thing. There's nothing you can do about it. They're just gonna do it anyway, and nobody, and I get it. You know, if I own property, I believe I should, I get that battle that we're fighting, and it just, I use the term manage it, okay? We're trying to manage the density, we're trying to manage the growth, we're trying to manage, okay? So, no, we don't have a right to tell these landowners, you can't do this or you can't really do that, that's unreasonable. But we
And I'm asking you just to define what those tests of reasonableness are, so that we, from staff, get feedback as to how to guide, because you guys can sit and talk about the concepts, but we're putting them into action when we talk to landowners. And I think there needs to be a logical conversation about when transition happens.
What transition?
Into, as things, as infrastructure and urbanization occurs, whether it's by economic reasons or by personal reasons, that you guys should be having a conversation about what those differentiation are and why, when we would look at that, or when it would even be considered, so.
It just sounds to me like, and again, I keep saying I get it, but I do, I'm just fighting, okay? When I hear urbanization, urban, it's like, there's nothing we can do about it, it's just the feeling I get.
No, let me paint it a different way. So, we know that there's some large investments being made on the west side of the city, and they're bringing in some large infrastructure in order to support the level of demand being placed on that part of the city. So there are property owners out there that are looking at, you know, the opportunities that could bring to their property. So if what I'm hearing you say, and the converse is that they no longer would have the right to develop, even though urbanization has come to that area or some form of it, one way or another, whatever that is.
East side about it right now.
That, what would be the thing, whatever that is, that would warrant a relook at that? I'm only asking you guys that, otherwise, what I hear you saying is, it's just no. Well, again, that's the consequence of maybe another city wanting to take that on, because the property owner's not gonna accept, sorry, the city's only gonna look at open growth, or open area as the only allowed use, or large lots, 5 acres or greater. They're gonna wanna know what that progression looks like, and I think you guys have an opportunity right now to carve that out, to make it.
So are you saying that if we did designate a land use as residential, what is wrong with saying, but the zone type that we would create would be for 5 acres only? We
Yeah, so
create
you
a-
would- But you might say,
Yeah.
maybe there's a large residential designation that looks at larger tracts of land that's current uses are rural pursuit in nature, including non-urbanized streets not on septic systems that exist, you know, currently as typical 5-acre tracts with
And that would give us a big-
agricultural, right? And then, so now you've defined what that looks like. We can arguably say this is or this isn't that. Now, and then you would say, what's the next one down? Well, the next one down might be, you know, your transitional zone of 1 to 5 acre lots that have more sewer to them, but maybe not connected, right? So it's a progressional zone, either up or down, depending on which way you're going, so that staff now has a framework for how they can look at what that looks like. And I realize when I say progression, I don't necessarily mean happening over time, but literally as it happens right now in that up and downward scale of.
So could we get a guarantee that if we designate a land use as residential, that we could, if the council wanted to have, to meet the goals and policy, an ordinance that we create a new zone of 10-acre lots,
Yeah.
period.
Sorry,
You could go as
P&Z, wouldn't it?
you could go as far as to say in your designations, the types of zone districts that it would support. So you could say, in the residential district, lands that are, have rural pursuits, including non-urbanized streets, on septic systems, and are large acre tracts, to give you that, would have a zone designation such as
Is this
X.
similar to the zone code text amendments that we've been making?
Yep.
So it's all under residential umbrella, but I think your perception of residential is everybody stacked on top of each other, but we can make lots of differentiations between them under
It
residential.
starts to drill down through your
Well, see,
zoning and your code.
The only
That's what
area that
we're
we
trying to
really
get to.
have left that I can see up there is again, in our ACIs.
Right.
And that's the area that, you know, that I'm most concerned about managing. And to be honest with you, the county part right in there, that is still somewhat ruralish, that property in there. You know, I'd like to see if they decide to come in, that maybe that's an opportunity to keep some at least half acre, if not 1 acre lots.
So that's how you do it though, because if we have a zone, then it's like 2 acre minimums. So yeah, we'll allow you to annex in, but this is a zone you're
Right.
gonna be zoned under.
Right,
That's still residential use.
right.
And that's what this
Well,
map,
I
that's
have-
all we're trying to do with this map.
I have no problem,
So
The
that,
value,
okay,
though,
saying residential, but again,
but we
I,
need to create a new zone.
as
that we can
rapidly,
put
needs to
into
start
these.
with you guys as rapidly as
Yeah.
possible.
I agree.
Okay.
I would
But we have
love
suburban.
if that was.
Yeah, but that's only 2
That's
houses.
half
That's
acre.
half acre, that's
Right.
half acre.
We want something, well, I
So we
do,
wanna-
I want something, because we're
And I think you've
tasked,
gotta walk a line though between losing that area of city impact to somebody wanting to go somewhere else because they can get more density out of it, to trying to
that's
preserve
a builder's choice.
some density or less dense areas.
let's refine that and say it's a landowner's decision, because they're not always builders and they're not always developers, they're also landowners.
Okay, the landowner has to sell.
Mostly developers.
Yeah, because
But-
they,
but
because the landowner
if-
sells
but
it.
Yeah.
Let's just take a case in
Yeah.
point here. We get we have a land use of residential, and we say we want 5 acre lots there. But can a builder come back and look at our goals and policies and say, well, you're restricting my ability to develop that land because it doesn't make economic sense, so I want an R1 here.
Yeah, so the way
And then we get sued because we can't do that, or we will have to do that R1.
You mean
How-
taking as takings claim, yeah, but,
Well,
so
not
our,
to annex in under an.
Now, I'm talking about existing land.
We don't have much existing
We don't
land for
have
that
much.
happen. We don't have much existing land within our borders where you're gonna have 5, 10, 20 acre lots. Most everything right now that I see at least is you probably have a half acre to acre, 2 acres in that county island in there. But other than that, we're talking about the ACIs in there, because up north of the airport is, you know, reasonably gonna be industrial, light industrial, stuff like that. You have your, you know, your commercialist areas on the main roads, and everything else is already, for the most part, residential.
Well,
I have an option. Let's all agree, since we all agree that those will be residential, now we're just, arguing on the finer points under the residential umbrella. Let's move on and just say, hey, those will be residential areas, and we'll hammer out the details on all the different residential zonings we can create under that.
But what about all that stuff south of Lancaster? That's all ag land, right?
No, that's all land.
No, there is.
North of the airport there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some.
well,
Yeah.
look at all that land there, there's a lot of land.
It's
I
ag
drive
today.
it.
What?
It's ag today.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm saying that's where these larger parcels could go in and development in there.
Under residential.
With the
Right, but
zoning of-
Ed, you were saying there's not much, but there is a fair amount north of the airport, and the way I look at it, within the city.
What's the next step?
I'm getting there. So I know that Sandra did a great job with her greens, but now that we've all kind of hammered back down to residential, I'm gonna erase all of the greens so that everywhere that isn't colored, we're gonna say is residential of some kind. Is that all right?
That isn't colored?
That isn't colored is gonna be residential
we
of some
open
kind.
up the color green to be used more refined.
Right, because there's not a lot of green going on there.
But Matt,
So I'm just trying to get us down so we can see the other stuff.
For light industrial. We
Right.
need businesses in this area here.
Right, right.
That makes sense.
So that's why I put the light industrial around the airport.
That's what I'm saying, that's what there's Lancaster right there. So
Right.
if you say rural,
Can't we
residential,
just
whatever in
kind of
there.
mirror
They're
the,
racing like blue lines they put on
You
there.
know,
I didn't
you want
actually.
industrial or you want
That's where you
rural?
stopped, so I was like.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
So,
We need business too.
yeah, I'll put a period on this. After much discussion, I think everybody at this table is sympathetic to the idea of creating a zoning with
Land use.
bigger,
Are we talking land use or zoning?
Zoning.
zoning, okay, not land use, zoning, with bigger lots that addresses the concerns that Councilman DePriest has raised. And that in order to do that, that would be like the next step in order to then work on the zoning map, right?
Yep.
And there's no disagreement from anybody at this table about this idea of bigger sized lots
The further out you go.
in the borderlands of
But
Hayden.
I do think that you guys should spend some time talking about the scalability of your residential so that we have clear understanding of how to apply that in the zoning aspect of things.
Okay, you can guide us on how that works, yes.
Yes.
But for the sake of this meeting tonight,
Right.
are you cool with that?
Well, I think it's like I said, I have no problem with designating it residential on this map here, if we're all of the understanding that, I mean, as quickly as possible,
We need to create some
we need to
zones.
initiate these various zones in these primarily open
Yeah.
rural areas right now.
All right, so I asked Sean to put, actually, I asked, let's start at the beginning. I asked, who's got the red marker? Tom has the red marker. So Tom put commercial up between Lancaster and Aqua and between Government Way and Highway 95. Are there any other areas of the city that anybody would like to see as commercial?
Well, all
Yeah.
Hayden Avenue.
Prairie Avenue.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
the major.
Well, wouldn't those be, hold on, bear with me.
Or mixed commercial.
Just gonna use the new verbiage here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be mixed commercial?
Yeah,
That's what I put it as, yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's in a mixed
Well,
commercial
no.
zone, it can be strictly commercial. There's no requirement that it has residential. It could be strictly commercial, right?
it would be a
And we can write the.
neighborhood commercial overlay is what I was thinking.
Well, we're not doing
That's-
overlays
No, we're
yet.
not doing overlays.
I understand, but do I want the space between 95 and Government Way to look the same all along Hayden? Is that what?
No, that'd be
No, that's what I
mixed.
just said, instead of making commercial, it should be
It should be mixed commercial, yeah.
mixed
There's gonna be some
commercial is mixed
residents.
use.
There's gonna be some residents there, there's gonna be some business there, and there's gonna be both there.
Well, why did we take away our old commercial zoning that allowed business, homes in the commercial?
That's mixed commercial.
Well, because it also
But
allowed,
we removed that, now we're
Apartments that
bringing
you-
it back.
remember saying it also allowed those big apartments that you hate, that was allowed.
I don't hate
with
big
them
apartments.
In certain areas.
Don't put words in my mouth.
So looking at the map and looking where you put mixed commercial, I kind of moved the map, I guess.
Move the map.
I've lived in
Slightly.
apartments. I like apartments.
Okay.
They have a place. Don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
And where the airport runway protection zone is,
Okay.
does that
We're
modify
out, Donna.
any of your, I know, my map slid, so I can,
Can you just do a, plus or?
let's see.
Oh, you just got.
Oh, no, it was bigger.
Okay, hold on. Let's
You're
see.
almost there.
That is Hayden. And that
Yeah, you
requires
have to-
me to move some lines. Am I matched up now?
No, you're not.
Yeah, but now if you put it back in slideshow mode, it's gonna be off.
Yeah. What it is.
There's now prairies falling off into Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
And 95 and.
Okay, so using your maps on your table as a reference, I'll go
Yeah.
back to this guy here. Goofy as well now, that's not helpful. Will that work?
Escapes our control of them.
I wonder why, oh, slideshow mode, that's why. I was like, what is it doing?
Hit that little power button.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Whoa. Almost.
Yeah, it's still off on that one. So anyway, so when you're looking on your table, you're looking at your airport runway protection zones. Do you want to see commercial in the areas that mixed commercial may or may not work in? Or do you want to identify those
You can't
differences?
put higher density residential in the airport.
That would be light industrial. Should be. Can you point where you're talking about?
Well, I can, but it's got all kinds of screen lines on it now. But- So this area along Hayden Avenue,
Oh,
you know, you couldn't put it in there,
It's already, I mean, it already has stuff there.
couldn't put it in there,
There's already
Higher
residences.
density.
can't put it up
residential.
here. That's why this is all commercial.
So it'd be strictly commercial through that little zone there.
That was the question.
okay, that makes
So does
sense.
the guy with the commercial marker want to
Tom?
come play with that?
Where was that again?
So you're saying,
Can you put that overlay of the airport zones? Probably a lot easier to then go.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, and I was like,
so
not helpful.
you're saying like this area right here? And
It already intersects the larger arterials.
I'm trying to play around. Is it close now? No, it's not close.
not even, you know, we should just start all over if we're gonna be using that one.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
I agree.
Let's do that.
Okay. I'll be quick.
That's all right.
Turn it to,
No, you gotta do this whole, this
Here, Timothy, it's all
you gotta
yours.
go to slideshow mode, so.
Oh, yeah. Go to slide-
my light industrial.
Hold on, let me go to slideshow mode so it's in the right
Okay.
place. Oh, that's not good. Why do I do that all the time? Right.
Oh, but now you're at
It's off.
95 and government lines are off.
So yeah, so that would be,
Not helping me at all here.
I would have moved the dashed lines, but
Maybe just close it and don't save and then reopen it.
that'll work.
She's so good.
Good call. Gives me a chance.
Please, help me out.
You missed blue up there.
That's always somebody.
Donna, you can just take the current slide.
Yes.
There we go.
You're tall enough to do it.
Okay, so commercial, all the way down here. Okay, and then you're saying
but remember the
commercial
CBDs in there.
inside the
that is
purple
residential.
That's all right,
boundaries?
it's an overlay.
Yes.
So we're saying commercial here, right?
Or like industrial either way.
Yeah, light industrial probably there.
Kind of already light industrial, and if
Yeah,
that's.
that's
what-
more in park, yeah.
More
All right.
yeah.
That's where I.
Do you have another marker, or should I just go ahead
He's,
and,
Matt's gonna come up and help you out with light industrial.
Matt?
Yeah, you want me to do that?
And Sean's gonna help up with mixed commercial.
Oh,
Because you
okay,
got the blue
so,
one.
Tom, I think what we're looking for is down on Hayden Avenue where the pink is, making some red there.
whereabouts?
Yep, there you go. Right there, and then do the same on the top.
So
Right
that's gonna be
here?
commercial, yeah.
Yep, so that's gonna transition.
Okay.
There you go. There you go, and then the same on the top.
Sean, what do you have?
Up here?
On Lancaster?
Well, you want to commercial the runway zone, right?
So you can't, yeah, so that's gonna be
That's gotta be red.
up here. I want to make
On
it
Lancaster.
Well, you don't have to go all the way to 95 if you don't want to. It's more just protecting where the airport is, so they don't build houses there.
Okay, and that's already a,
That's light industrial.
That's already light industrial.
Yeah.
That's very commercial.
okay. And then even though these are all neighborhoods already, it's kind of doing this a little bit.
Sean, what are you? What zone are you?
I am mixed commercial.
Mixed one.
Do you want a better pen?
But then you need to break it at the airport there.
Is it this big?
Except for right here.
Yep, there you go. Now you're getting it.
Most of that's already, for the most part,
Yeah, developed.
yeah, single family stuff. So you're not
And
gonna have
then
much to develop.
here?
on
Right?
Because it's under the airport approach right there.
I think Matt might.
Yeah, I'll take care of the
Might
light
take care of
industrial.
that.
I have some thoughts on that, if it's my
Okay, hold
turn.
on to your pens.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to do anything out here, or is that going to be our residential zone?
I did light
Marker off,
industrial.
That's residential.
I did light
darker color? Okay, that works too.
Light industrial because Warren Park's there.
Yep.
And also, I wanted to see, my thinking was, we need to create, and I know this goes over residential, but I have a problem with the development near the airport because people complain. And we get those calls all the time, but we already have light industrial up in here, and we have some over in here associated with the airport. It's not on city property, but I'm just saying that this is the generalized area that I think that we should have light industrial is here and around the airport to create a buffer so that you don't have residences right next to it. And also, we have a sewer plant out there that, well, it stinks.
Odor easement.
Yeah, and so we wanna try to put some kind of distance from residential.
What are you saying people are complaining about around the airport?
Planes there.
We have a sewer plant that we partially manage, and I sit on the sewer board, and people complain about it. And we have odor easements with each property or each approval that we have for subdivision, that's a requirement, so that it's recorded, and they can't really have any legal right to sue because,
It's also in their sales contract, isn't it? Something saying.
well, I think,
It's in their title report, but nobody reads it.
Yeah, that's it.
And
yeah,
the realtor should tell them.
I'm gonna say, that should be a requirement. We should have a city ordinance that says the realtors have to disclose that.
Yeah, by the way, there's a sewer plant up there, but go ahead.
Matt,
Oh, it's only bad when the wind comes out of the northeast. It
Don,
never
do
happens.
you want to advise, so if Matt's realization to extend light industrial land use around the south side of the airport where we have current residential, does every residential then become a non-conforming use? And if they go to do, say, an ADU or something?
Because the zones haven't changed.
Okay.
It's just directing where changes would.
But are you going to allow residential zone in a light industrial use?
That'd be a question for council if the zone map
You'd have to
amendment
do
came
that.
forward.
And then what would that open up to new areas that currently don't have residential? If we say an allowed use in light industrial is residential, then you could hypothetically have someone build a house in the middle of Warren K Park.
Right.
And,
It's a zone, you're mixing your land uses and your zonings again.
no, I understand the difference. I'm just giving a rubber meets the road example of if you're going to allow zones in use, as was suggested earlier in the meeting, I thought I heard.
Get your land use maps are drawn, so they have a fuzzy zone, fuzzy line, and so a zone map amendment would look at the whole thing, and they'd look at the goals and policies and the
Okay, so
standards
zone
that are in
map amendment
place.
would be the thing that saves somebody from that.
Why do we have light industrial with our park there, Crawford Park?
Oh, he was just identifying that the area around Crawford Park in this location would also be industrial.
Because it's underneath the runway.
Because it's underneath the runway protection, that's what he was
Okay, good.
suggesting.
So what's next?
Oh, yeah, okay, see that, yes.
Okay, so, you've drawn your map, kind of consolidated your map. Now I want you to look through your goals and policies. Everybody's got a copy. And walk through your map and see if it meets the intent of your goals and policies, flushes out that it meets the intent, or if you have areas of concern.
Well, we identified that everything that is not marked up is residential?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I have one question about goal number 2, which says all development will consider and implement adequate parks and open leisure space. I thought we ran into a situation with a certain contractor where he was supposed to put in a park, and then due to our ordinance, that then he said, well, I don't have to do it. And so I guess the point is, in fact, do all development, do they have to, well, they have to consider, but do they have to implement adequate parks, is my point.
That's been an area of internal discussions about how we want to look at the future zoning code.
Because I know that Donna said this very clearly, based on the amount of park space that we have based on the population, we have more than enough. So I guess the question is, are we going to emphasize even more if we have more than enough?
So it's partly why the plans are broken up the way they are. It's to provide an opportunity and build towards the why we would want to put that in ordinance, but maybe the answer is we don't need it in ordinance, so. But right now, the requirement that they comply with the parks plan is an area of conflict that we are internally discussing.
But putting this in application, if the fact is known that we have adequate park space for our population, can we still require a developer to put in parks? Because they could argue and say, hey, we got enough, we don't have to do it. I just don't want to give them an out.
Open space, the better.
Yeah, Matt, the idea behind this goal is just some kind of open space, so a developer doesn't come in and builds nothing but homes, and the kids have to play in the swales. So it doesn't necessarily force somebody to build a park. That's again where we peel the onion down farther into the ordinances and the other documents that support this, and then you guys dictate. This is just the overarching goal that says if you're gonna build here, we want some kind of leisure built into your vision and not just sardine can.
Well, I want that
Right.
open space, I just don't want to give them an out
But that's,
if we require, because if
Yeah.
it's in a goal, well, they're gonna, they're gonna,
right, so that's where we then go to our ordinance
Okay.
and
Oh, we'll consider adequate parks, that's what you're saying, the out is with the word adequate. Like saying, they could say we already have adequate,
yeah.
so just get rid of the adequate in the goal.
well, it doesn't have to because it's a matter of open space.
They still have to follow the parks master plan.
Yep.
And those long-range planning documents.
Yep.
And then they still have to pay park impact fees.
Yep.
At the time of every building permit,
So
so.
I don't think that word gives them an out. It's an overall.
Yeah, but when the attorney is presenting, and then there's a threat, if you don't follow,
Tougher than that. I mean, here's our goal, here's our ordinance, and here's our code, and here, we have 4 layers below that to say, no, you're building a park.
Right.
And you knew that when you bought this property, because you could do it. We assume you read these things before you bought the property. We're sorry if you don't.
Mr. Mayor, would you say we're at a good stopping point here where we could gather our thoughts and come back later with more?
No.
Our goal is to get this done.
This would be our fourth time.
Can we get
I
this
think
done?
we can
Yeah,
get this done.
this is our third meeting on this, our goal is to get this map done.
neighborhood pedestrian.
And I think we have the underlying stuff, concerns, that will then be implemented as we go forward with the zoning and all the, and goals, or not goals and policies, but code amendments, all those things.
But
And I
this,
think Ed's concern was that we were gonna kind of,
but this mixed commercial zone is just kind of thrown in here all of a sudden.
Land use.
Land use.
land use.
talked about
It's not a
it
zone,
last
it's not a zone, remember, it's just the same thing they talk about like residential. It's just a
That
use,
ordinance.
it's not a zone, it's not a
It
zoning.
looks like a zone to me. So, so it looks like all the parameters from what we've looked at before have changed, like this, adding in this mixed commercial and things like this. I feel like
It was the same thing we talked about at the last meeting, but we were having a discussion on the verbiage, and you didn't like mixed use.
The word village.
So mixed,
Wanted more.
mixed commercial was more adequately descriptive of what we were trying to do or implement, and it's in the goals and policies, it'll be along major transportation corridors and those types of things, so that's where we have it.
So within these land use, are we still gonna have our types? Within these land uses?
Yep.
Will there still be mixed residential, mixed use,
Yes,
single
those are all
family?
zones.
Those
They're all zones.
are all zones that will remain.
Correct, they're part of the code.
It's on the wall.
So our zones
Do not,
They don't change.
that we have will not change.
except how we bring them forward.
What is that?
Except for those extra delineation areas that we talked about, larger lots.
Larger
Okay,
lot
so-
zone.
And P and Z is going to hopefully initiate that rapidly?
I would guess, that comes from us? Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect, there we go.
Yeah.
Because we have our marching orders.
Donna, is there anything else?
I just want to have that, some are reading the goals and policies. I just want everybody to read through goals and policies and make sure that what is being provided there for guidance, because we're going to make a map out of it, is the direction that we're going. And that we believe it's met these requirements.
Do you want us to turn these in so that we can get a credit for it?
No.
How about a grade?
That's what I debated between grade and credit.
And then looking at your maps and looking at what's up there, do they reflect what you got? That's the other thing.
Ed, you want me to draw you a little gold star in the corner of your map?
The gold star with a happy face.
So it seems like our goal is to kind of shrink the higher density areas and allow more residential use.
Higher density, mixed commercial now.
And I think that could also be a place to start. I'm all for it.
Should, just, I know that's a zone issue that we're talking about larger lots. Should that be a goal?
I think we have, it says a variety of land uses.
So that'll categorize in that, we get it covered?
I think you'd get in
Okay.
trouble with that in itself.
Okay,
with a lot
okay,
of
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So we don't want to pull the plug too early. We're looking for you guys to review this, because the next step would be, Donna's going to say, here's the flum we made, and then we're done. We move to the next thing.
Which is?
And let's try and make sure that.
Let's tackle that on that day today. Let's focus on.
No, what is the process
Get this
here?
stuff quick, we can't take 3 meetings for,
No, this shouldn't have gone this long.
yeah. But I think we got through
I think
everybody's
we're trying to
concerns.
get close to a public hearing the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be the next step.
Yeah.
On
the comp plan.
comp plan amendments and the map.
Yep.
Then you have workshops and the public can.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I
We're
just
not
have
there
one
yet.
question it might be fine.
Yep.
It's not. For the area on Prairie Avenue where you've got Strawberry Fields and Stoddard Park
Yep.
and Grouse Meadows, they're already very built environments. Are you still seeing those as being mixed commercial, or are you seeing those areas as being residential?
Residential.
Well, they've already developed, I just put it on the corridor.
Well, one thing we haven't really stated here, which is, and I presume, is that if there's already residential, then it's grandfathered in as residential, even though, like, Sean put mixed use along,
Mixed commercial.
Commercial on Prairie.
mixed commercial, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Like at the
That's
corner of
right.
Ramsey and Prairie, there is some commercial, and then
I'm just trying to.
And remember, mixed can be
Either
residential.
Do you think it kind of allows for
Allows for
happening
either-
a business or two within?
One, the other, or both.
and all the houses are there already, so it's not like somebody's gonna come in and.
And then the other question that I had is that Chompers at Stoddard Park really acts, and then the Stoddard Barn potentially, really acts like a neighborhood
Yeah.
node.
Yeah,
So-
there's another one at the corner of
Atlas and
Atlas
Prairie.
and Prairie.
Southeast corner.
Yeah.
That's in
Yeah,
Coeur
that's Coeur
d'Alene.
d'Alene.
That's right, there's really
Oh,
another
that's
one.
Coeur d'Alene,
That's
is it?
Coeur d'Alene.
Prairie.
But it's still basically
That's
a
really
neighborhood
commercial.
node.
So I think
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, just clarifying.
So Donna, does this give you enough, this map, to redo a future land use map?
I think so.
So we just have to say basically that we believe it meets the goals and policies and we're good to go.
Yes.
So, yeah, just one more go through and make sure that, and we'll go from there.
Remember, this is just big over umbrellas. All the finite details can be hammered out later.
I just don't want to see any residential areas overzoned with something that's another zone because they're established. Something, if there's a house there or a residence there, I don't believe it should be overlaid with another zone
Our
application.
plan specifically says to protect existing neighborhoods.
It's not very, it's kind of dry,
That's all right.
so spit on it.
So,
So Donna, just to test everything here, okay? So let's focus on this area right here underneath the flight zone. Outside of, or not in the county, but in Hayden. I mean, I haven't looked on GIS to see, this is all currently
That's all
residential.
Stancraft and
What?
the Lake City Auto and.
Right in there?
Yep, yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
Atlas going up Atlas there.
There's a couple homes right in
You're looking
there.
at Chateau.
There's an older neighborhood right on the right side of it a little bit.
Like right here?
Yep,
There.
yep.
Okay.
Can we just prove?
And then we
This
had.
is where Harbs is, right?
No, North Atlas on the west side of it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And remember, we had a thing from before us that wanted to do residential in there, we said, no, it had to stay light industrial, and they put in kind of an industrial park there.
Matt, can I clean up your lines?
No. Depends where you want to do. No, those are generalized, so go
I
ahead.
just want to tighten things up.
Yeah, go ahead, be more
Where's
specific.
that racer?
I did it in a general way, because I don't know all the properties and what's there. I know about.
Oh, I got you.
Just tightening it up to where the actual stuff is. right?
So like, oh, that is a
Spin on it.
marker.
Don't we have a whole mess of them there in the building?
So would there have to be a buffer or does it go right along there? You wanted a buffer, right?
For uses?
I just wanted residential as far away from the airport as feasibly possible because of the noise and the safety issue. We had a plane crash in a neighborhood just north of here. And, so it does happen.
And it was right in that blue up top right up there on
So it's in the city.
It was right there, right?
right at the top of the hill there in Lancaster, that's where it landed.
Really, a plane can crash.
Kind of where that blue in.
Yeah, the plane burned and the people were okay.
Yep, they all got out.
Yeah.
Good pilot.
Sorry, I'm encroaching on county property. I didn't mean to do that.
I understand wanting to keep residential away from the airport, but planes can crash anywhere. I live in Strawberry Fields and planes fly over me all the time. A plane could crash in my backyard.
Typically take.
Atlas Elementary has one of those small aircraft crash right in the playground, right in the building. So it does happen. I mean,
Yeah.
again, if we're tasked with the health, safety, and public safety or welfare of our citizens, why put them at risk?
Well, then we should just wrap them in bubble wrap.
You can put that in an ordinance and see how far it goes.
You can only mitigate safety, or danger so much.
Right, but there's a practical application. If you can reduce risk, why not?
I understand like a certain distance, but I don't want to say like you can't have housing within a mile of the airport.
I didn't say that.
I know. I'm saying like at what distance are you okay with?
Well, we had one developer that came in and wanted within the flight path or critical zone of the airport, and they showed a map.
Yeah.
And it was not the current map, it was updated by the airport, where then he couldn't build there. So that's the kind of stuff that happens, because they want to squeeze it as close to the airport because the land is less expensive, because it is not as, there's the sound and the safety issue. But
But there's already houses there at the end of the,
You can have low-density housing.
I understand that, but we were asked, to put what you would like to see in a land use, and that's what I would like to see. Even though it didn't happen, that's still what I'd like to see.
Tom, what are you putting up there on Hayden?
It's just where we had marked blue.
That was Sean's,
I was just marking the transportation corridors and he's making it a little bit neater.
yeah.
Okay, Donna, you have what you need? It sounds like,
I have one more quick question. This
Oh,
is more-
sure.
This is more directed toward Councilmember DePriest, I think. So the area that is south of the airport runway protection area and north of Hayden Avenue, do you see that as being residential, or do you see that as being, no, to your left?
To the
your
left. West of Hutter?
Yeah. Do you see that as being residential or continuation of that, it's commercial, or do you see it as being commercial?
Oh, on Hayden Avenue?
I would say.
Oh, north of Hayden?
Yes.
Or north of,
Isn't that horse
Well, those
ranches?
You're talking about the
Those are
road,
Horse ranches
the
and
road
stuff.
right here or up in
I'm
here?
talking right there.
Up in there?
residential.
That's rural.
Again, notice that that's light
Yes, but that would fall
industrial
under
directly
residential.
north of it, and light industrial.
Light industrial here?
So what I'm saying is that, you know, you gotta kind of look at that.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how much actual acreage that is in there, but again, I don't know of too many people who would really want to, if you're gonna have plenty, you know, flying back and forth, I would say keep it south, keep the residential south,
Okay,
okay? And most likely, this would, at least in my sense, to be commercial, light industrial, something where you didn't have resident, you know, people.
But those are all residences.
It's all
There's
Right
houses.
now,
Residences and horse
it's the rural,
ranches.
it's rural, basically rural ag
yeah.
Yes,
right now.
that would fall under residential.
actually, yeah, there's like 3
Residential.
houses out there.
So should we
Big field.
back up Matt's border there?
Back it up to Hutter.
To
Yeah.
Hutter? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I know people that live there. Those are all residential,
Yeah.
that's all farmland and.
Yeah, all the way up through there is, yeah, I would say, yeah, keep
Where do you
that
put the
hopefully
horse
as your
ranch?
rural
She was south of.
residential,
Okay.
Yeah.
as it basically is now, if I'm not mistaken.
But I think that purple you might.
Like that, right?
I think, is that's the critical zone.
What's that?
In the purple, the critical zone, where they want to allow anything.
Will they not allow anything or it's density?
Just, you know, they just load it, it's all loaded.
You can't look at it.
Just one.
There you go.
Just throw them out, Tom, if they're dry, like.
Put them up there, man.
Okay, and then the last question I have for everybody is that area that is north of the airport, primarily owned by either the airport or somebody that's farming.
Okay, here,
Yeah,
That's
are
not,
you thinking of that being residential, or are you thinking of that being a light industrial?
Residential.
all the way up to the airport?
From the airport to
From
Lancaster.
Lancaster to the airport.
So all of this basically being residential?
that could be bigger, because that's all.
So where's our,
it's all
so our only
field.
light industrial is gonna be basically, you know, if it, again, for me, I'd kind of buffer the airport with
That's why I
something.
did around.
Yeah, then putting residential right up to the,
Well, that's what this is, because, oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
So do this.
whatever, here, it's hard to tell what's the airport and what's not there. But yeah, I mean, have residential up in here, but buffer, because I don't see how much light industrial, and we need business.
Well, the big blue, that was all county of the airport, that's all county anyway.
Yeah. We got it, Tom, we got it.
Yeah, we're gonna be here all night, Thomas.
There we go. Yeah, boy, you got a good one there.
There you go.
But realistically, with that little amount of land next to the airport, how would that be developed into land?
That's more than you think.
Right.
So you're gonna really need more,
Yeah, that is scale,
Oh, that's
the
a lot
view
more
of it
than
right
you
now, it's
think.
hard to tell.
right?
Those are hangars and there's commercial out there right now.
Donna, can I ask for clarification for the record? Is that dotted line Highway 95, and so I show commercial only east of 95, no commercial west of 95?
Where they have it drawn.
Other than,
No, I think on both
I had
sides.
it on both sides when I drew it out. It just didn't show up there.
Okay,
And I believe we used the word fuzzy earlier.
fuzzy.
It's a fuzzy map.
Question on
So
Hayden,
no one has objected to the fact that I didn't fill it up
government
up
way.
here.
Seems like there's starting to be some.
That's not currently Hayden.
That's in the county.
Yeah, but it's in your area of
That's an area of
impact.
impact though, right?
Mhm.
But we're
So
not
is
coloring
it-
that area.
I think it would make sense to extend, if you got a major highway there, what are you gonna have, commercial, or you aren't gonna have, I would hope you aren't gonna put homes right alongside a major highway.
No, but this is a personal thing, is that, and I asked, when you asked us the other night if we wanted to ask those businesses north of Lancaster if they wanted to annex into the city,
That's on government way.
was, well, I asked the question, though.
Between government and highway.
That was not in a public meeting.
Whoops.
Oops.
Now you got us all in trouble. Now somebody's gonna file a complaint.
Meeting adjourned.
So if they were to annex, if those properties were to annex their commercial properties pretty much today, those uses that are out there from Lancaster to Batesville are predominantly commercial uses.
Yeah.
Storage unit.
Except for the curve.
Car dealers.
Yeah.
And,
All right,
Okay.
oh, one quick one, just sorry, real quick. Hayden Avenue, east of the way is kind of, there's an apartment, and then there's a couple commercial little doctor's offices, and then there's Avenue
Just
irrigation
right back here.
right over here.
On the north
Oh,
side.
Hayden that way, yeah.
So it should probably be, and I don't think it's all in the CBD, so maybe a little strip of mixed commercial there, because it seems that's what.
It's already developed.
It's already there, but it's there, it's where the funeral home is.
Behind Hayden Bible Fellowship.
It would be smart to extend the blue squiggly to Maple.
I don't think you're all the way to Maple.
No.
Or halfway to Maple,
Whatever, halfway to
whatever it is,
Maple, yeah.
wherever it is.
Yeah, it's about halfway to Maple.
The blue squiggly.
And is it church that acquired the whole Hayden Elementary area?
Yeah.
No,
Now you're all the way to the.
Oh, yeah. Not here.
Yep, there you go, perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Easy, you back up my brother line here.
all right, was that the last one, by the way?
Yep.
Donna?
we're great. Does anybody want to take a picture of it so that when I take the map, you can beat me up over it?
While they're taking a picture, we can have a motion.
Isn't it on the video?
Motion to adjourn.
It is, but, you know.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here adjourned.